So up next, we have Jennifer Flynn. She is an eco-psychologist who values the reciprocal healing benefits shared between humans and nature. She is the program director for the nonprofit Seeds, Ecology, and Education Center's EcoCorps, which is focused on conserving and restoring Michigan's lands. Today, she will be talking about her work within the nonprofit. Please welcome Jennifer Flynn.
Thank you for that introduction. I'm really happy to be here. I love being able to come down to Manistee. It's a place where we do a lot of our work over the course of our EcoCorps season. I also love that I'm following a storyteller, as I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story about Seeds and what the organization has been doing in the region for the last 25 years. I'm happy to say that we are celebrating our 25th anniversary. Seeds was founded in 1999, and we're still carrying out our mission to implement solutions to global challenges in our local communities at the intersection of ecology, education, and design. So we have three main program areas. We educate everyone K through adult. Our Eco Strategies program is focused on educating adult learners, also working with our MUSH market partners. It's municipalities, universities, schools, and hospitals, so major institutions that we know are points of change in our communities and also have significant impact in the practices that they are implementing in those institutions. I'll speak more about some of that work that's happening here momentarily. EcoCorps, I'll share more about that here as well. EcoSchool is our after-school, out-of-school time educational programming, which focuses on, again, ecological learning, social emotional learning opportunities, and really just provides a place for our local students to go after school. We have two programs in Manistee County, both are in Brethren, and elementary and middle school levels. The students receive nutrition support, so they get fed while they're in programming, as well as homework support during that out-of-school time. And then all of these programs come together at Historic Barnes Park in Traverse City. It's really our playground where we're able to implement solutions and create demonstration sites, including our new compost petting zoo, which I want to invite you all to come and visit and learn more about composting, which I'll also be speaking about. So the EcoCorps program, I'm happy to say, is hiring anyone 16 and older. So there's no upper age limit to those that we might work with. We are interested in working with folks who have an interest in changing their community, engaging in social and ecological repair. The folks that work with us gain hard skills through various different work opportunities. This is modeled on the Civilian Conservation Corps of the New Deal era. Happy to say that both of my grandfathers were CCC members, and so I love the fact that as I did when I was a kid, I heard about so many stories of my grandfathers planting trees, and we would come and visit spaces where they had worked, and I get to see that tradition carried on with the folks that work with us. I know that many of the people that work with us are sharing the same stories with their families, and they're going on to feel connected to the places and spaces where they're doing this work. So each year, our folks are involved in habitat repair, and that's restoration for our plant and animal allies, including our human community. We do building restoration, including historic property preservation. We also do energy upfitting with some of our attainable housing partners in the region. We also construct boardwalks, so folks learn about green construction. They also build trails on public and private lands and install and maintain ecologically friendly landscaping, working with private and public clients and partners. And I will say much of this work is funded through grants that supports the extensive amount of training that all of our EcoCorps members are going through every year. And I want to say thank you to the Minger Family Endowment with the Manistee Community Foundation for, again, supporting some of our work that will be taking place in Manistee County this year. So not only do our staff gain hard skills, they also gain soft skills while working with us. One of the places where this is most commonly taking place is at the Sierra Hardy Farmers Market, where our EcoCorps members understand the importance of customer service. Throughout the work that they do, they're also engaging in community outreach. They're sharing the stories of the work that they're doing out in the field, whether it's talking with ORV riders about the importance of staying out of recently restored habitats in the Manistee National Forest, or it's them talking with the mountain bikers that are using the multimodal pathways on the trails that they're improving and maintaining. They also perform data collection. They learn about teamwork, communication, time management, and how to make and answer phone calls, which I understand is a critically needed skill these days. We have hired and employed over 600 individuals in seasonal positions over the course of the program's history with Seeds since 2009. The folks that work with us often have opportunities to go on and work with some of the partners that they meet out in the field. So the individuals, the second and third from the right, were both hired by the National Park Service after Sleeping Bear staff got to know these individuals while working in the field while they were working with Seeds. The gentleman second from the right has now left the Park Service and now is working with the U.S. Forest Service as a wildlands firefighter out in California. So we do really create a career pathway for these individuals once they get connected to the work, and also it creates a greater network for them where they're learning and understanding how to navigate the federal hiring process, which is quite onerous if you've ever attempted that, and also just how to connect and how many wonderful opportunities there are in green-collar careers. So I will say that our staff get training in things that you wouldn't find training opportunities in your typical jobs. So this is a biochar production training that our staff participated in several years ago. We like to incorporate training opportunities that are directly related to all of the work that Seeds is doing across the organization. So this is directly related to our systems change work involving composting and organic waste diversion. So now I'm going to share a bit about our organic waste diversion initiative. So since 2018, we've been convening a group of stakeholders across the 10-county region, Manistee County being part of that. The vision is to regenerate Michigan soils by reducing organic waste in landfills, preventing waste, improving soils, collaborating with our communities, and with carbon. So we have a wide range of stakeholder groups that have been part of this convening that originally sat down at the table since 2018. It includes your local Bay Area Recycling for Communities. We have Emmett County, Grand Traverse County, City of Traverse City, Carter's Compost, Michigan Recycling Council, Michigan Organics Council, which is not included on this. Manistee County Recycles via our relationship and friendship with Bark, Next Cycle, Eagle, and Rotary Charities we want to thank because they were the first funder that started, that got this process going and stimulated the systems change work. So why was this work so important? Why did we see organics and waste diversion from landfills as being so critically important? Well, we know that 80% of organic waste is coming directly from our households, and we as individuals can have an immediate and direct impact on that organic waste diversion work. It's an easy way for people to feel good about making simple changes in their own homes and lifestyles. We also know that regenerative agriculture is critical to combating concerns of climate change and also critical to providing healthier, more nutritious, nutrient-dense food for our communities. We also know that regenerative agriculture is greatly impactful on the health of our ecosystems. So we're reducing carbon dioxide emissions, we're minimizing agricultural runoff by the use of compost applications in the regenerative agriculture practices. It's also directly tied to potential stormwater solutions. Compost and additional organic matter added to soils, especially our very sandy soils in the region, is key to stopping agricultural runoff, as I just mentioned, but also to prevent erosion in shoreline situations as well as spaces that have been newly developed. So organic wastes are anything that could be compostable, and that's going to be everything from yard waste, woody material, including construction debris, non-treated construction debris, food scraps, manures, of course, and some papers that are not treated with plastics. So by weight, organics are 38% of what goes into landfills, and it just makes sense that we turn that trash to treasure, turn it into something new and something valuable. So our current situation, we're facing a problem, and we have responses. We know that food waste and organic matter in our recyclables reduces the value of those recyclables. We know that transporting organic waste uses a lot of carbon. It's heavy material that has to be transported, typically very long distances. There's a food manufacturer in the region that is having to ship its apple and fruit pulp waste across state lines to go in somebody else's landfill. That doesn't make sense. This is something that we need to change. We know that once that material ends up in the landfills, there's anaerobic digestion creating methane, which has a significantly more immediate impact on climate warming compared to carbon dioxide. So it has been said that methane is the emergency brake. So in a short-term time span of 20 years, if we were to diversify shift our organics from landfills into compost or on-farm applications, we can also reduce the amount of nitrous oxide, which is created through the chemical fertilizer production and application. And it has 293 times more significant impact on the climate over the course of a longer span of time. So we're having an immediate impact by reducing our methane, and we're also reducing carbon and carbon dioxide emissions, but also importantly, we're reducing the amount of the nitrous oxide that's emitted and will impact our environment for many generations. So we have an opportunity to transform this waste to get away from contamination and create higher valuable recyclables, move away from heavy to transport material to local composting solutions, and move away from methane to generating new soil, healthy soil, and drawing down carbon. But we know that the system is not easy to change. Systems work often benefits a few people. The status quo is often difficult to change. There's often no one in charge, and there's multiple causes. So I'd ask each of you to consider how you might be able to impact each of these levers for change, whether it's through working to shift the culture in your household, in your community, doing educational outreach, opening up new markets for opportunities for compostable and food waste materials and wood rescue, talking to your legislators to impact policy, and creating access to new resources. So the state of Michigan has a goal to reduce solid waste from landfills by 45% by 2030. Our current diversion rate is 19%, so So we still have some ways to go in a very short amount of time. We know the landscape ban has been very successful in diverting our yard waste. And through a study done with REAMP, a consulting service, originally funded again, that work began in 2018, we found that we need to divert 33% of organics in this region, again, that 10-county northwestern lower Michigan region, from landfills. So how are we going to get to that number? Well, again, a lot of it has to do with us. We can reduce our consumption, we can buy appropriate amounts of food, we can make sure that we're eating our leftovers. We can consider doing a weekly refrigerator audit and making sure that we're eating the things that are going to go bad first. Also saving ourselves money, saving ourselves from sending that food waste to the landfill. Also understanding how we can transform that food waste into valuable compost in our own backyards or in our homes or in small-scale community centers. Food rescue is also an important means of reducing food waste. Food rescue initiatives include food rescue of Goodwill Northern Michigan, but also donating food to local food pantries and supporting gleaning operations on local farms. Wood rescue is something we are highly engaged in, as is Bay Area Recycling for Communities. We are transforming urban trees and rescued trees into value-added products, and that's also a key point of training for our EcoCore members. So small and medium processing facilities are able to turn 5,000 tons of organic waste per year into 1,000 cubic yards of valuable topsoil, instead of that material just going into the landfill and benefiting those who are receiving those tipping fees. We see a lot of on-farm animal feed being rescued from our community restaurants and from grocers, and that is an area where our region is doing very well. There's more that can be done. Some of these small farms are also taking community compost and serving as local drop-off sites. In order for us to really reach that goal of diverting 33% of our organics, though, we are going to need some large-scale composting facilities, and these, again, through that same market study, are determined to be viable in major population centers. Unfortunately, Manistee was not one of those, but Cadillac, Petoskey, and the city of Traverse City were all identified as being key places where these large-scale operations, where you see these aerated static pile systems, would be very viable and revenue positive. So that's an important note as well. And a successful program would see 60% of single-family households, 40% of multifamily households, and a large number of commercial businesses participating as well. And again, that includes the mush markets. So if you think about our school systems, our hospitals, our major institutions generate a large amount of waste on an annual basis. So how can we get from trash to treasure? Well, again, we see education, outreach, training, and community engagement as so critical to that work. We understand that we want to see a transformed world, and how can we transform it? Well, we can transform it through, again, the work that we do with a bit of time and investment, turning scraps into gold, and turning that healthy, rich soil into nutrient-dense food. And we know that nutrient-dense food also creates healthier people, and healthier people are often happier people. This is a group of EcoCore members that raised basil at the Seeds Farm at Historic Barnes Park, and then were trained by a local entrepreneur in how to transform that pesto, or that basil, into pesto. and they had a great time doing it. And they touched every bit of that growing process, from the composting to the application of the compost to raising the basil from seed to then turning it into yummy pesto. I would encourage you to visit our YouTube channel, and you can watch the video about our hiring practices.